signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Madam Clerk, please enter the minutes. Item 11 is passed. Number 12.
Mayor and Council, we will start now on the one-read ordinances. As provided in our charter, we have for the first 90 days the opportunity to pass ordinances on one read. Thereafter, we will go to two reads unless you make a determination that you wish to change the charter, which you may do by home rule. This is number 12, ordinance 2012-12-19, consideration and approval of a one-read ordinance to provide for the continuation of ordinance and law.
Is there a motion on the floor?
I move that we adopt ordinance 2012-12-19 for approval of a one-read ordinance to provide for the continuation of ordinance and law.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion?
Could the city attorney just clarify a little bit that normally you need more, several reads?
Right. Prior to Dunwoody, and actually Peachtree Corners did not have it, all the charters were two-read ordinances, which would mean you'd have a first read of the ordinance. You'd have to wait a 24-hour period, at least till the next day, and an actual 24-hour period before you could pass it on the second read. There is a place within our ordinance that allows the first 90 days to do it as a one-read ordinance.
In our charter, you mean?
I'm sorry, yes, in our charter. In our charter, it allows us to do that in the first 90 days. And thereafter, we have to go back to the traditional two-read. That was part of an attempt by the legislature to try to clean up some of the potential hurdles that we had in bringing in ordinances. But because it's never been tested, we continue to do it all three ways in an abundance of caution. So I appreciate them putting it in there. I'm going to ask you to vote them in like that, but I'm not going to take any chances, and we'll do it every single way there's to do it if we may.
Is there a motion on the floor? Oh, you got the motion. Discussion. Any more discussion? All in favor of item 12, please signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Madam Clerk, please enter the minutes. Item 12 is passed. And by the way, this is non-alcoholic cider. Mayor's drinking on the job. No, this is cider. Drop your cameras.
Church school.
Yeah.
Church is over there.
Item number 13.
Mayor and Council, item number 13 is ordinance 2012-12-20. This is consideration and approval of a one-read ordinance to adopt and approve Chapter 1, General Provisions for the Code of Ordinances for the City of Brookville.
Is there a motion on the floor?
I have a motion to approve ordinance 2012-12-20, the approval of a one-read ordinance to adopt and approve Chapter 1 General Provisions for the Code of Ordinances for the City of Brookville.
Is there a second?
Second.
I'm sorry, who seconded that?
Williams. Switch it off. Any discussion?
All right, so now,
I was kidding.
so now, this is button-up bill, but we're going to do all of these again with one read?
We're doing them all with one read, and then I've given you a little break in the middle, and then we're going to do a first read where I only have to read the captions, and I'll bring them back on Wednesday night for you to adopt them as a two-read ordinance. So we'll get it done every way there is to get it done.
Thank you for showing mercy upon the good people.
I'm glad we have a little coffee here.
Yeah.
There will be no qualms from anybody to make any motions after we're through tonight.
All right. Any more discussion? Okay. All in favor of action item number 13, please signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Madam Clerk, please enter minutes that 13 is passed. Number 14.
Mayor, this is item number 14, ordinance 2012-12-21. Consideration and approval of one-read ordinance to adopt and approve Chapter 2, Administration of the Code of Ordinances for the City of Brookville.
Is there a motion on the
move that we adopt ordinance 2012-12-21, approval of a one-read ordinance to adopt and approve Chapter 2, Administration for Code of Ordinances for the City of Brookhaven.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of action item 14, please signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Madam Clerk, please enter the minutes of action. Item number 14 has passed. Number 15.
Mayor and Council, item 15 is ordinance 2012-12-22. Consideration and approval of the one-read ordinance to adopt and approve Chapter 4 alcoholic beverages for Code of Ordinances for the City of Brookhaven.
Is there a motion on the floor?
I'll move to accept ordinance 2012-12-22 for approval of a one-read ordinance to adopt and approve Chapter 4 alcoholic beverages for Code of Ordinances for the City of Brookhaven.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right.
Okay, we're going to jump in here.
How about if the motions come from the left side, I'd say, well, the second can come from the right. All right. Any discussion? All in favor of item 15, please signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Madam Clerk, please enter the minutes. Number 16.
Mayor and Council, item 16 is ordinance 2012-12-23. Consideration and approval of one-read ordinance to adopt and approve Chapter 7 Buildings and Building Regulations for the Code of Ordinances for the City of Brookhaven.
A motion on the floor.
I move that we adopt ordinance 2012-12-23, approval of a one-read ordinance to adopt and approve Chapter 7 Buildings and Building Regulations for Code of Ordinance for the City of Brookhaven.
Any discussion? Or was there a second? Joe?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of item 16, please signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? They're more than halfway there. All right. Item number 17.
Mayor and Council, item 17 is ordinance 2012-12-24. Consideration and approval of a one-read ordinance to adopt and approve Chapter 9 Municipal Court for the Code of Ordinances for the City of Brookhaven.
Is there a motion on the floor?
Move that we adopt ordinance 2012-12-24 to approval of a one-read ordinance to adopt and approve Chapter 9 Municipal Court for Code of Ordinances for the City of Brookhaven.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of item 17, please signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Number 18.
Mayor and Council, item number 18 is ordinance 2012-12-25. Consideration and approval of a one-read ordinance to adopt and approve Chapter 10 Elections for the Code of Ordinances for the City of Brookhaven.
Is there a motion?
I move that we adopt ordinance 2012-12-25 and approve a one-read ordinance to adopt and approve Chapter 10 Elections for Code of Ordinances for the City of Brookhaven.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Who do we have as a second, please, Mayor?
Ms. Williams.
Ms. Williams.
Madam Williams. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor of item 18, please signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Madam Clerk, it's passed. Please enter the minutes. Number 19.
Mayor and Council, item number 19 is ordinance 2012-12-26. Consideration and approval of a one-read ordinance to adopt and approve Chapter 15 Licenses, Permits, and Miscellaneous Business Regulations for Code of Ordinances for the City of Brookhaven.
Is there a motion?
I so move to accept ordinance 2012-12-26 for approval of a one-read ordinance to adopt and approve Chapter 15 Licenses, Permits, and Miscellaneous Business Regulations for Code of Ordinances for the City of Brookhaven.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of item 19, please signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Madam Clerk, please enter the minutes of 19 is passed. Number 20.
Mayor and Council, item 20 is ordinance 2012-12-27. Consideration and approval of a one-read ordinance to adopt and approve Chapter 24, Taxation for Code of Ordinances for the City of Brookhaven.
Motion.
I move that we adopt ordinance 2012-12-27, approval of a one-read ordinance to adopt and approve Chapter 24, Taxation for Code of Ordinances for the City of Brookhaven.
Second.
I second.
Discussion? All in favor of item number 20, please signify so by saying aye. All opposed? Madam Clerk, please enter the minutes. Item 20 is passed. Number 21, it's an action item.
Mr. Mayor, item 21 is action item, nomination and election of a mayor pro tem.
Okay. I nominate the esteemed councilwoman from District 1.
Mayor, if I may.
No. Go ahead. Yes.
What I would ask you to do is that you would, this is a council rather than a mayor appointment or a nomination. So I'd ask you that what you would do is open nominations and then accept nominations, and then if there's no further nominations, motion to close nominations, a vote on the closure of nominations, and if there's one nominee, then a vote on the nominee. If there's more than one vote on the nominee, vote on the first nominee, and if that one passes, it's through. If it fails, then you go to the next nominee.
So do I nominate?
This is a this is a council.
I thought the charter said that I did.
If I may read the.
Well,
I think
well,
I read
what is
it.
it? I thought it was. I thought, did you read that?
Yeah, charter.
One of the general things that we have.
The provisions for Mayor Pro Tem are outlined in the first meeting of the years after an election, and it doesn't speak directly on that on the initial year. But I will read you the portion that outlines how you pick a Mayor Pro Tem.
I might shortcut this and nominate Rebecca Chase Williams. Go ahead and make a nomination.
So let me get it right, so if it says something there, I better be right on it.
There's a 75%, 80% chance I'm wrong. So, no wagering.
I thought I saw when we were
In the red book.
in the rules of
Roberts?
no,
The red binder you gave us the first night.
yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that was.
That's the council. It says the council. We're all the council. It's a law.
Yes.
Who's running for office?
Well, it does say the council does elect. And so what I propose is the regular nominating process that you as the council would make a nomination. You as the chair who runs the meeting.
The charter says that's one thing that can vote on.
So
I don't get to vote usually.
But what I would ask you to do, the methodology I'd ask you to use is that you as the chair, you open the floor for nominations, and you take nominations. Once one nomination is made, then there's a motion to close nominations. There's a second. You vote to close the nomination, and you vote on the nomination. That would be the normal procedure, parliamentary procedure to go through this process.
I'm opening the floor for nominations.
I hereby nominate the Honorable Councilwoman Rebecca Chase Williams.
Is Anybody second that
I
nomination?
don't need a second nomination, but if there are no other nominations, you'll ask for a motion to close nominations.
Any more nominations? Let's close them down. Close the nominations down. Yes, she's thinking what to say. Yes, nominations are closed. Now should be a motion for a vote.
You put it to a vote.
Let's put it to vote. She can't vote, can she?
Everyone gets to vote.
All in favor of Rebecca Chase Williams as Mayor Pro Tem, please signify so by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? We're in the record that Rebecca Chase Williams is Mayor Pro Tem. I think that's something we'll rotate to, which I think is what's traditional. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Madam Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you.
Okay, we're on to action item number 22.
Mayor and Council, we're about to, I actually put that action item in before, to try to break it up a little bit. But now we're on the first reads, and you don't have to act on these. I simply have to go through and do a first read on every one of these, and then we will bring them back for a second read. And once we get to item 31, we'll have one more thing to do before the
You're
conclusion.
just going to be reading these captions.
I am.
All right.
If you'd like, I'll even call the numbers out. If you want.
Okay.
Mayor and Council, item 22 is ordinance 2012-12-28, consideration and approval of an ordinance to provide for continuation of ordinances of law, first read. Item 23 is ordinance 2012-12-29, consideration and approval of an ordinance to adopt and approve Chapter 1, General Provisions for Code of Ordinances for the City of Brookhaven, first read. Item 24, ordinance 2012-12-30, consideration and approval of an ordinance to adopt and approve Chapter 2, Administration for Code of Ordinances for the City of Brookhaven, first read. Item 25, ordinance 2012-12-31, consideration and approval of an ordinance to adopt and approve Chapter 4, Alcoholic Beverages for Code of Ordinances for the City of Brookhaven, first read. Item 26, ordinance 2012-12-32, consideration and approval of an ordinance to adopt and approve Chapter 7, Buildings and Building Regulations for Code of Ordinances for the City of Brookhaven, first read. Item 27, ordinance 2012-12-33, consideration and approval of an ordinance to adopt and approve Chapter 9, Municipal Court for Code of Ordinances for the City of Brookhaven, first read. Item 28, ordinance 2012-12-34, consideration and approval of an ordinance to adopt and approve Chapter 10, Elections for Code of Ordinances for the City of Brookhaven, first read. Item 29, ordinance 2012-12-35, consideration and approval of an ordinance to adopt and approve Chapter 15, Licenses, Permits, and Miscellaneous Business Regulations for Code of Ordinances for the City of Brookhaven, first read. Item 30, ordinance 2012-12-36, consideration and approval of an ordinance to adopt and approve Chapter 24, Taxation for a Code of Ordinances for the City of Brookhaven, first read. Mayor, that concludes the first reads.
Okay. Now we need to go back.
We only have one more. It's item 31, Mayor.
All right.
The last item we have tonight, Mayor and Council, is an action item where I'm asking you to authorize me as the acting city attorney to advertise for zoning and signing, for the zoning and signage ordinance for the City of Brookhaven, so we may adopt our own zoning pursuant to the Zoning Procedures Act. That would only require a motion to authorize me to advertise for zoning and signage ordinance. And I will go forward, do the postings, and get ready to bring that forward to you.
I have a motion to authorize for the advertising for the zoning and signage ordinance for the City of Brookhaven.
Second?
Any discussion?
Is this section 27?
Yes, sir. This is how we're going to bring our zoning in our signage, and we have to follow the Zoning Procedures Act, and the first thing to do is we have to advertise and notify for the public hearing.
And that period is when?
It's within 15 to 45 or 60? 45. 15 and 45. So what we'll do is we'll present the advertisement on Thursday to the champion, It'll go out on the 27th. The advertisement will take place. We'll have a public hearing on it probably around 16 days afterwards. I always get a little scared doing 15. So we'll do it 16 days out, and then we'll have our public hearing, and then we can enact our ordinances. And I would anticipate that the ordinances will be in place around Monday, the 20th. I'm not sure of the date, but I'm calculating the date. I'm sorry. The ordinance will be in place prior to the end of the moratorium by about 4 days, I believe, 3 or 4 days.
What was the 45?
The 45 is the maximum amount of time you can have. The minimum amount of time after advertisement is 15.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
We're in discussion.
Right.
And this is all to bring in the existing DeKalb County ordinance.
We will bring in the existing DeKalb County ordinances. We will vet some of them to check the sufficiency of them constitutionally, and any of those that we feel don't give you the sufficient support for the policies that you wish to implement, we will amend those, but we will point those out as we go. And before we bring it to you, so you will have a full opportunity to vet those kinds of changes that we might make.
So no one should think that we're bringing in our own zoning or sign code ordinances.
The only things we'll do is there are experts in certain areas of this in the law that I will bring in. I'll bring in the woman who is the best person on sign ordinances in the state to review the DeKalb ordinance, look for any weaknesses in that ordinance, and see how I can strengthen that ordinance rather than carry over a weakness. I would try to strengthen it. Anything that we do will not change the ordinance in terms of policy, of what you want out of the ordinance. That is for you to do. It's only if I find things that I feel that have some potentials for constitutional infirmity that would be able to challenge the ordinance and have it struck down and not have any ordinance at all to be in place are the kinds of things that I would make changes on. And that's the purpose for the review, that I go and hire the experts to get there to make sure I have you